Have you ever noticed that the things you desire most are precisely the ones that seem to slip away from you? The more you chase, the further they drift. The more you squeeze, the more they slide through your fingers. There's an ancient paradox hidden in human nature. We are programmed to control, but it's precisely control that robs us of everything. Think about how many times you tried to force a relationship to work, and it crumbled. Think about how you desperately sought approval, and it never came, or how you wanted so badly to be happy that you created a prison of expectations around happiness itself. Life has a cruel irony, but also a liberating one. What you grasp tightly slips away like water. What you allow to exist freely remains like a bird that chooses to return to your hand. This isn't just cheap internet philosophy. It's a truth observed for millennia by Eastern masters, Greek Stoics, Sufi poets, and even modern quantum physics. From Lao Tzu to Carl Jung, through Alan Watts, they all whispered the same message. You cannot control life. You can only dance with it. And when you understand this, truly understand it, everything changes. Let's start with the obvious. Why do we grasp? Why is our first reaction to what we love, what we want, what we fear losing, to clench our fists and hold on with all our strength? The answer is fear. Fear of losing, fear of not being enough, fear that the moment won't return. We live in a constant state of mental scarcity, as if life were a competition where only the strongest, the most controlling, the most obsessed win. But the truth is, this race has no finish line. The more you chase, the more tired you become. The more you squeeze, the more you hurt yourself. Think about love. When you love someone and try to possess that person, turn them into your emotional property, what happens? The relationship suffocates. The other person feels trapped, and you become a jailer of your own loneliness. The love that should be light transforms into chains. And ironically, the more you try to ensure the person stays, the more reasons you give them to leave. True love doesn't grasp, it allows. It says, I love you enough to let you be free, and I trust that if it's meant to be, you'll choose to come back. And money? Money. How many people do you know who live obsessed with accumulating, with controlling every penny, with making sure they'll never lack resources? And what happens? They live in scarcity, even with full accounts. The scarcity mindset attracts scarcity. They can't enjoy what they have because they're always worried about what might be missing. Meanwhile, those who treat money lightly, who allow it to flow, who spend consciously but without neurotic attachment, paradoxically prosper. Why? Because the energy you put into life returns. The universe mirrors your internal state. This applies to everything. Career, health, recognition, inner peace. The more you force, the more you wear yourself out. The more you demand things be a specific way, the more you suffer when they're not. And they never will be. Life is organized chaos. It's constant change. It's impermanence dancing with infinite possibilities. And you, small human being full of plans and certainties, think you can tame this, think you can hold the wind. But then the question arises, if I can't control, what do I do? Surrender to chance? Become a hostage to circumstances? Let everything happen without acting? And here's the most misunderstood point of all. Allowing is not passivity. Allowing is active wisdom. It's the art of acting without attachment to the outcome. It's planting the seed, watering it, caring for it, but not digging up the soil every day to see if it's growing. It's doing your part and trusting the process. It's releasing obsessive control and embracing conscious participation. The Taoists call this Wu Wei, active non-action. It's not doing nothing, it's doing without forcing. It's swimming with the current, not against it. It's understanding that life has its own rhythm, and you can enter that rhythm or spend all your energy fighting against it. Spoiler, you'll lose that fight. Always. Because you're not fighting against life, you're fighting against the nature of existence itself. If this idea is already starting to mess with you, if you're feeling a strange discomfort, a restlessness, wait, have I been living my whole life wrong? Stay here. Because what comes next might change the way you see everything. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, this is the moment. Because this journey is long, and I promise each video will take you deeper into the rabbit hole of real transformation. Let's talk about you now, about your life, about that dream you've been chasing for years that always seems to escape, about that relationship you so want to fix but only gets worse. About that inner peace you seek everywhere, except where it really is. Have you stopped to notice that all your frustrations have one thing in common? They're born from the gap between what you want to happen and what is happening. They're born from the refusal to accept the present moment as it is. And don't misunderstand me. I'm not talking about conformism. I'm not saying to accept abuse, injustice, or mediocrity. I'm talking about something much deeper. I'm talking about accepting that you don't control the universe. You don't control other people. You barely control your own thoughts, but you can choose how you respond. You can choose to let go of the rope in this infinite tug-of-war with reality. Imagine life is a river. You're in the water. You can swim furiously against the current, spending all your energy, creating resistance, hurting yourself on the rocks, and at the end of the day, barely having moved. Or you can learn to swim intelligently, using the river's force in your favor, allowing it to carry you, but still guiding your direction. Which of the two seems wiser to you? I know people who spent years clinging to a job they hated because they were afraid to let go. And when they were finally fired or had the courage to leave, they discovered infinitely better opportunities waiting on the other side. I know people who clung to toxic relationships for so long, they forgot who they were. And when they finally let go, they not only found themselves again, but attracted true connections. Life has a way of rewarding the courage to let go. But there's an even deeper secret that few know. And this is where the magic really happens. When you release control, when you stop grasping, you don't lose. You gain space. Mental, emotional, spiritual space. You stop living in constant emergency mode and start living strategically, creatively, presently. You stop being reactive and become responsive. And in that space, in that openness, life begins to conspire in your favor. You know that saying, "When one door closes, a window opens," well, it's only true if you're not desperately trying to break down the closed door. Because while you're there, punching the wood, screaming, begging for the door to open, you don't even notice the wide-open window beside you. Attachment blinds you. Desperation deafens you. Control paralyzes you. The Stoics had a practice called amor fati, love of fate. It wasn't about liking everything that happens. It was about accepting that everything that happens is part of your path. It was about saying yes to life, even when it hurts. Because pain doesn't come from what happens. Pain comes from your resistance to what happens. You don't suffer because you lost something, but because you refuse to let go. You don't suffer because things changed, but because you insist they should have stayed the same. And here's the plot twist that will blow your mind. When you really truly let go, when you stop grasping, what's meant to stay, stays, and what's meant to go, goes. And both are blessings. Because what leaves frees up space for what needs to arrive, and what stays strengthens through the freedom to exist without being suffocated by your fear of losing. You want a healthy relationship? Release the neurotic need to control the other person. Love without possessing. Be present without being clingy. Be a partner, not a jailer. And watch the person flourish, and watch yourself flourish. You want professional success? Release the obsession with the outcome. Focus on the process. Be excellent for the pleasure of excellence, not for the reward. And watch opportunities appear from unexpected places. You want peace? Release the internal war. Accept who you are, where you are, what you feel. Stop fighting yourself and feel the silence that emerges when the drums of resistance finally stop beating. This isn't theory. This is practical. This is real. This is testable. Try it now. Think of something you're grasping tightly. It could be a worry, a desire, a fear. Feel where that tension lives in your body, in your chest, in your stomach, in your jaw. Now take a deep breath and imagine releasing it, not throwing it away, just opening your hand, allowing it to exist, but without needing to control it. Feel the difference? That small space that opens, that subtle relief, that's freedom, and it was available all along. You just needed to open your hand. Alan Watts said something brilliant. You can't grasp water. The tighter you squeeze your fist, the more it escapes. But if you keep your hand open, the water stays there, in your palm, available. Life is like this. Love is like this. Happiness is like this. Everything worthwhile is like this. There's a beautiful verse that says, "Hold with open hands what God has given you, because if you close your hands so as not to lose, you also close your hands to receive." And this isn't just religion, it's universal wisdom. So here's the final truth, the one that liberates and frightens at the same time. You never had control. Never. Everything you think you've conquered, everything you think you possess, everything you think you've secured is temporary. It's illusory. It's borrowed from life. You came naked into the world and you'll leave naked. In between, you collect experiences, not things. You collect moments, not guarantees. And the faster you understand this, the faster you start truly living. Because when you stop grasping, you start appreciating. When you stop controlling, you start participating. When you stop being afraid of losing, you start having the courage to win. And what you win isn't external, it's internal. It's a lightness you didn't know was possible. It's a confidence that doesn't depend on anything outside you. It's a peace that the world doesn't give and can't take away. So, my friend, I leave you with this. Let go. Not tomorrow. Not when you're sure. Now. Let go of the need to know. Let go of the need to control. Let go of the need for everything to be as you planned. And trust. Trust the process. Trust life. Trust yourself. Because the truth is, you're stronger than you think, more capable than you imagine, and more loved than you can comprehend. And everything you need is already inside you. You just need to open your hand and let it flow. If this message touched you, if something inside you changed, even just a little bit like this video, comment below what you're ready to let go of and subscribe to the channel because this journey is just beginning. Share this with someone who's grasping life so tightly they've forgotten to live it. Because sometimes a person just needs to hear these words to finally breathe again. Until the next video. And remember, what you grasp slips. What you allow stays.